terrified pigs stampeded through the shelter after thunder shook the night. Snow-covered roadside nearly turned deadly when a man ran into traffic. A thundering landslide in the mountains forces a massive construction vehicle to retreat before the road vanishes. Nighttime commuters watch in shock as a train violently shears through a vehicle stuck on a dark crossing. Lunch turned into survival mode after giant tree branch crashed onto the table. Massive tree collapse beside the house sounded like something out of a disaster film. A carefree sprint through an open field ends instantly when a child trips over a hidden carcass and bolts away in terror. An indoor camera catches the exact moment a sudden slip sends a terrified woman crashing hard onto the floor. A scenic bike ride self-tape transforms into a painful wipeout when the cyclist loses control right in front of the lens. Motorcyclists suddenly crash directly in front of the approaching vehicle.
A fateful moment happened.
Heavy refrigerator slipped from the movers and thundered down the stairs. A high-speed tire blowout on the highway sends a car into a smoky tailspin right in front of a trailing driver. CCTV captures the exact moment a truck's sudden braking on April 27th sends a massive cargo of wet cement flooding the street.
No, it's like the longest storm. That's crazy again.
Relentless lightning flashing through the storm clouds looked terrifyingly powerful. Curved tornado beneath rainbow created one of nature's strangest sights.
Lo que es la grandeza de Dios. Tu rainbow, mira. Tu rainbow, mira. О, Афган, а что, на земле не ходится, что ли, брат?
An audacious stunt goes completely wrong when a man attempting to sprint across a row of park benches suffers a major fall. A farm chore turns chaotic when a slipping ladder sends a worker falling. Deeply startling a nearby buffalo, a daring escape from a ceiling hatch fails spectacularly when a sliding ladder forces a woman to dangle before crashing down. Forklift nearly tipped over while unloading cargo into the container. Bridge construction turned disastrous when the crane suddenly collapsed. Drivers were left stunned as a plane landed directly on the highway. A mountain transit disaster is narrowly avoided on May 3rd as a runaway truck skids toward a group of terrified bikers. A driver executes a desperate escape as a violent gale begins tossing heavy debris across the roadway. Unexpected alligator visit outside the California home looks straight out of Florida chaos. Drone footage captured giant fish silently moving beneath massive schools underwater. A reckless motorcyclist underestimates the power of nature, getting completely swept away while trying to cross a raging flash flood. An intense indoor volleyball match comes to a sudden halt after a powerful spike sends the ball wedging tightly into the ceiling framework. Massive aircraft descended onto the field like a scene from science fiction.
People got hurt over there.
Loose fabric nearly struck the helicopter blades during a tense landing. Dashcam footage captures a terrifying electrical storm as high winds snap power lines, triggering a blinding series of short circuits. A bridge crossing turns into a nightmare as a massive truck nearly crushes a car before flipping over in a violent windstorm. Rare golden fish shocked viewers after suddenly swallowing another fish underwater. Kansas sky turned surreal as giant tornado formed beneath a perfect rainbow.
Oh là 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 là. Oh là là, regardez-moi ça les gars. Est-ce que c'est pas insane ce que je suis en train de faire? C'est complètement... Ah, impeccable les mecs. Regarde, est-ce que c'est pas insane ce que je suis en train de faire? Les gars, on va
A basketball court crossover goes hilariously wrong, sending a player skidding across the hardwood as teammates burst into laughter. A top-heavy three-wheeler loses traction on a sharp turn, flipping entirely onto its side in front of a commercial building. Demolition blast erased the tower beneath a cloud of dust and debris. Giant water tank collapsed without warning in front of shocked onlookers. Chaos erupts in India on April 28th as a street-side gas cylinder explodes, triggering a desperate battle to contain the flames. An unmanned motorcycle goes on a rogue journey down a canal while its owner desperately chases it from the bank. A casual indoor game is shattered when a runaway car crashes through the building wall, sending players diving for cover. High-speed truck turned scattered cargo everywhere and stopped traffic instantly. Falling bricks from moving truck nearly caused deadly highway disaster. Train wheels scraping sparks into flames created terrifying nighttime footage. Highway dashcam footage captures a terrifying moment when a car's hood tears completely off. A chocolate-making mishap leaves a confectioner completely drenched in a sticky wave of molten cocoa.
So, jetzt lassen wir schön poppen hier. Heute Deckel.
Swimmer glided effortlessly beside a school of fish beneath the water. Hundreds of fish launched from the water around the moving boat. A routine roadside repair turns into a disaster as a speeding motorcyclist slams into a technician's heavy machinery. A family's afternoon drive nearly ends in tragedy after a bicycle rider suddenly swerves into the path of their vehicle. Massive snow collapse rolling down the mountains looked unstoppable. Dark storm clouds and giant tornado completely swallowed the open field. India witnessed terrifying tornado formation as crowds filmed the massive storm. Confident sprint across the field turns into an immediate ego bruise as a boy slides out and wipes the turf. A curious toddler gets too close to an open drainage canal, losing his footing and slipping directly into the rushing water.
Oh, it's coming for you guys! Get out of there!
Fearless man stood beside a raging waterspout as objects flew through the air. Massive tornado loomed over the highway as drivers watched in disbelief. A massive unidentifiable object falls from the sky, slamming into the highway just yards away from a moving vehicle. A car exiting a garage becomes a literal fireball after an engine failure triggers a sudden, violent burst of flames. An adrenaline-fueled highway exit nearly ends in a crash after a speeding biker hits a massive bump and loses control.
nampak batu tu. Terompak yang.
Fast spinning tornado beside the buildings looked like pure destruction in motion.
बहुत देर से घूम रहा है वो, है ना? एक घंटा हो गया उसको, आधा घंटा हो गया, तूफान बन जाएगा.
Violent winds snapped trees across the road as drivers scrambled to escape.
Go, bruh!
You scared?
A sudden office chair malfunction sends a worker sliding across the floor in a state of absolute shock. A routine clinic session takes a comedic turn when an assistant wipes out on the floor, leaving her patient cracking up. An industrial pushing task turns into an immediate workplace fail as a woman loses traction and hits the floor. Rare-looking fish stunned everyone before being released back into the water. Strangely patterned fish moved beneath the surface like living artwork. Zebra shark cruised calmly through the ocean in a breathtaking encounter.
Бля, они плывут. Оттуда, от того дерева наступают. Хватает людей. Тут твари добрались до ловковых ям и наступают, двигаются. Машина!
过去喽，有饭去喽，注意嘛！
一会儿口岸路沿呢，就晚餐灯光了。
这眼子不踩过呢。
还错了一点，那只是几万的，他通通嘛，这咱们管不了了，没办法，你可能几十万，你可能。
A stoic mother goat shares an intense, unbroken stare down with the camera while her kids peacefully nurse. Two daring street performers risk it all in a shocking, high-voltage nighttime exhibition utilizing raw electrical currents. A street biker's attempts to show off on wet asphalt end in a humiliating slide right in front of an assembling crowd.
Está bien, mano. Bueno, vamos a cortar esta transmisión.
Swimmer found himself surrounded by a massive underwater fish swarm. Kitchen fire erupted suddenly before a quick-thinking man stopped the disaster. Fire extinguisher exploded unexpectedly and sent the worker jumping back in panic. A localized tornado forms in an open field, spinning a massive cloud of abandoned clothing high into the atmosphere. This master of illusion leaves onlookers stunned with a gravity-defying coin trick on the back of his wristwatch. A routine plumbing repair turns into a flood as a high-pressure pipe burst completely submerges an entire worksite. A simple pile of burning leaves takes on a magical glow as the embers swirl and dance before the camera lens. Powerful storm ripped roofs apart and crushed vehicles beneath flying debris. Catastrophic flood swallowed homes and vehicles while terrified people watched helplessly. Massive landslide nearly buried construction workers beneath collapsing earth.
Untuk sementara PTS ditutup karena nggak bisa dilewati.
A winter shortcut goes hilariously wrong when a woman slips directly into a freezing pool of muddy slush, much to her friends' amusement.
You have a spider coming down. Where? Right there. It's literally. Oh my god! Oh no, it jumped at me.
A sneaky sheep catches a farm worker completely off guard with a bite from behind, sending her hiding behind a co-worker.
Okay. Ouch! I was scared you was gonna hit me really hard, okay?